Ryan, how are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Welcome to The Journey, driven by Enterprise, where we get to get a peek behind the curtain at your journey to the Brisbane Bandits.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get started. First off, I want to learn about your childhood because I know there's a lot to learn about. You jumped around because of your dad, you're a military family. Where all did you live before you graduated from high school in the States?
So, born in California. Wasn't there all that long, and then went over to England, Turkey, moved back to the States, and went to Arkansas, then Florida, and then moved up to North Dakota, where my dad retired, and then got a job in Minnesota and took us there.
That would have to create a bit of a strain on a child moving around so often. How did you adjust to that?
No, it's not too bad, man. I really enjoyed it. Baseball was always a good way to make friends wherever I went, so I always used that as a bit of an outlet, and it was, I enjoyed it, actually.
Were you able to play baseball everywhere you went?
Yeah, everywhere we went. When we were overseas, we lived on base, and when I first started playing baseball was actually in Turkey, so they had like a little base, air-based league, and started playing over there, and then moved back to the States, where obviously baseball is a little bit more popular than Turkey. So,
without any long-standing geographic ties, what players or teams did you cheer for growing up?
So my dad was always a Cardinals fan, so I always tried to root for the team that was playing the Cardinals. So I kind of grew up a Cubs fan a little bit. Always kind of liked the Minnesota Twins. Just kind of bounced around for a while until I found a team that was right for me, which ended up being Minnesota. So I kind of liked everything about them.
I can relate. Tell me about going to high school in North Dakota. Now, there are some very good baseball players who have come out of North Dakota, but it's not exactly conducive to playing baseball year-round. How were you able to garner the attention of professional scouts when you were playing up there in North Dakota?
So our summer over there is it's pretty short. So you pack a lot of games into a very short season. So we kind of used our high school season, which obviously everybody wants to win a high school championship, but the American Legion season during the summer was kind of like our big, our main season, if you will. It was our coach did a really good job of kind of showcasing us around the country. We played in Omaha during the College World Series. We'd play in South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin. We kind of played everywhere just so we could get that exposure we needed.
Some of my fondest memories playing baseball were doing American Legion ball in the summer in the same region as you, and it just kind of gave a vibe of a freewheeling, carefree type of baseball. Did that jibe with your experience?
Yeah, I loved American Legion, man. It was a lot of fun, and it kind of gives you that little extra incentive to play for, being if you win your state, you go on to a regional, which then goes on to a national championship, whereas with college baseball, for the most part, you win your state, and that's about it. And I was fortunate enough to play in a couple of those regionals, and we fell short of the World Series 2 years. So had a really good time, really good team, and it was a good experience growing up.
You were drafted out of high school by the Phillies as a first baseman. What kind of offensive skills did they like out of you that they decided to take that gamble on you?
Oh, I ask that question all the time, man. There was obviously could swing it a little bit when I was younger, but getting older and the fastball is getting a bit harder. It was a bit of a transition, so I can't really answer that one. I don't know. Well,
you used the word transition. Before too long, you decided to become a pitcher. Was that your choice, or was that something that was suggested to you?
That was my choice. So everybody was telling me whenever I would do the showcase stuff, you go through in high school, all the tournaments and stuff, it was kind of 50-50 with me. I could have been drafted either way. And I was just fortunate enough that the White Sox coming along and wanted a left-handed pitcher. And that's how I ended up where I am now.
That was your second time around entering the fray of the professional sports world. What happened in between those that helped you prepare yourself that second time?
I actually signed with the Windy City Thunderbolts in the Frontier League, and I was there for a bit, kind of obviously very raw, coming straight out of high school. with just trying to throw as hard as I can with really no clue of where the ball was going. And I guess it worked a little bit, kind of like got in front of the right people. And I got fortunate enough that the White Sox took a chance on me and kind of started to teach me a little bit more about how to actually hone that velocity into throwing strikes.